Hello again, everyone. Back for our last match of this league with the Pull from Eternity deck. I'm just going to do the quick match here. I guess I'll start talking about the deck while we're in queue, but talked about it before, but we're trying to utilize Pull from Eternity to set up Goryo's Vengeances as early as turn 1. We get to exile cards using Serum Powders, Devourer of Destinies, and Gemstone Cavern. We're supposed to select to always be on the draw. I've unsuccessfully done that 3 times this league. Hopefully, we're done doing that. We want to exile one of these two. Ideally, we exile Emrakul and then somehow get an Ulamog into play, either with Goryo's or through the Breach. We got one ring because it's it's a take an extra turn, draw extra cards. Essentially, can set us up to actually survive to get a Breach off or get the cards we need to get our Pull from Eternity Goryo's Vengeance going. Fable is here as a Goryo Vengeance enabler. We also can cast this as early as turn 1 as well. And it allows us to Goryo's Emrakul pretty easy. Look at that. I almost clicked it. I almost clicked yes. But no is the correct answer. Hmm. So, I mean, this hand is pretty close. Obviously, we don't have the Pull from Eternity in hand. I think we keep because... it's close. It's close. It's close between a keep or a powder. If we powder, then we have an Emrakul exiled anyway. We lose one Goryo's, which is bad, but we're not losing any pull. We're not losing an Ugin's Lab. We do lose a gemstone as well. It's close. It's close. It's close. So either way, if we keep it, we get to exile Emrakul. If we powder, we get another 7 and we exile the Emrakul. I'm gonna go ahead and powder because we don't have pull. I want to be. I feel like the more we play this deck, the more aggressive we are, the better. I think we're gonna powder again. Having both Ulamog and Emrakul is ideal because then we can pull the Ulamog, leaving the Emrakul exiled. Um, Otherwise, this hand, the biggest thing we're losing is the Gemstone Cavern. Um, we got the pull, but we do not have Goryo's. But I think we're gonna. Maybe we mulligan. We have 14 cards. We haven't seen a single Ugin's Lab. There are 3 more Goryo's Vengeance and 4 pulls in the deck. This one is what? Turn 2 this, turn 3 this, turn 4 Breach. If we draw land. We don't have anything to Ugin's Lab. I think we're gonna mull. We want a hand. Okay. We got our Goryo's and pull. We don't have a black source, which is a downside, but I think we keep. Um, get rid of the extra Goryo's. Yeah, I think with ring we're fine with that. We do a lot of stuff before our turn 1 that really sets up our game. It's a very weird deck. Ooh, against an aggressive deck, I'm not sure I want to shock to pull. We got our black source, so I do want to shock. So I'm going to pull on their end step and untap and Goryo's. So that's our plan. In a Gruul or I mean, this could be some other stuff. Could be other stuff going on, but most likely our opponent doesn't have anything that interacts with us game 1. There's an off chance they play something like a surgical extraction, which obviously would be game ending for us, but that's the risk we play. That is the risk we take. We gotta look at our card. Doesn't matter. We're just gonna fetch basic swamp and we're gonna Goryo. We're gonna pull the Ulamog, obviously, not the Emrakul that is exiled. But with an Emrakul in exile, Ulamog will swing for 22 damage and 15 annihilator. So very effective. I wonder if he's gonna go all in on the dart here. If he had the double strike, maybe he could hit us for like 8, but not too worried about dying. Make sure we click the right card. Opponent's reading this card likely because it is not one you typically see. They're like, okay, so he's got a Ulamog in the graveyard. Now what? Now you die. I think we made the right decisions there. I think Serum Powder is very strong in this deck, and you should probably use it more often than not. The only time it's probably bad to use is if you're exiling pulls from Eternities. Especially a pull and a Goryo's in the same powder. You don't want to do that. So unless this gets surgical, we should be good. I don't really know what else they could have interact at this point. When it reading, they're like, what is this? 2222, annihilator, X is... what? You're very dead, friend. We take time on the clock before turn 1. Our opponents take time on the clock the rest of the game. Because all our decisions are made the first 2 turns of the game. Or before, even. Sand was decent even without Serum Powder. We could have Ugin Lab the Emrakul, pulled it, and had a turn 3 win anyway. Or no, we couldn't Ugin Lab Emrakul and the Ulamog, but... Okay, sideboard. I don't think they're an energy deck. So Trinisphere is kind of our only consideration. Maybe Defense Grid if we see Surgical, but I don't know that we want to change a lot. I think we're just going to submit. We're just trying to be fast. Maybe we bring in the Trinisphere game 3 if there is one. His hand's close. Yeah, I want to keep it. I'll explain why. We can Ugin's have the Emrakul. And then ideally, if we survive to turn 3, we get to ring, and then turn 4, we're gonna breach. Assuming the ring helps us draw into another land, we can breach the Ulamog. It's a little slower, but I'll keep it. Keep this as a 7 up a game. Also, I want to see like what do they bring in. If they just brought in a bunch of graveyard hate, this beats graveyard hate, so that's another reason to keep it. They could be sitting there with like 4 surgical extractions. That's a great draw. That is fantastical. We'll exile the big boy. Be really careful, by the way, when you click this for mana. If you accidentally click the return, it just happens. There is no like, okay. And I've done that before where I was like, I was trying to tap this for 2 mana, and it just returns to my hand and ruins the whole game. So now we could get to turn 2 the ring into turn 3 breach, win. Should be fine. They played Monstrous Rage, Monster Token, +2, whatever. Whatever they're doing, can't beat the... Well, they could have stomped to beat the ring protection. But because I already have breach and lands in hand, I can just fetch the basic mountain. So I don't even have to shock myself, and I'm not going to ring. Yeah, I'm not going to ring. Ring would just put us closer to some weird possible way of them killing us. So we're just going to take 0 damage from the ring. We're going to fetch down to 12 and kill them. I don't know what they could have right now. I'm trying to think of things they could interact with us. Veil of Summer doesn't do anything. Red card? Can't think of a red card that would do anything. This is showing the fun part of having like 2 combos in a deck. Like we needed to have an exile this game, but surprise, it's this guy again. Is there a card that's like target creature deals damage equal to its power to itself? It does have ward sack 2 permanents, so if they had something like they'd have to like sack the monster token in a land, I assume. But I guess their opponent's gonna let us swing this time. Sack 15 permanents, please. Okay. Don't know, were they thinking maybe they could block it? Maybe they didn't understand. It took so long to read it the first time. But there you go. Nice, fast video. The deck does actually work. Again, some of those losses I think would be wins if I had clicked correctly. So take the 2/3 with a grain of salt. Would I change anything? I don't think so. I think this is pretty tight. I mean, what's his name? Aspiring Spike kind of knows what he's doing. The one card that seems a little suspect is the Fable. And maybe I'll try it with. I'll pull it up here in my collection so we can change things and move stuff around while I talk. But I might try it with Haggle. The big difference is obviously so Haggle, if you're not familiar, 1 mana instant red, discard a card if you do draw a card, and then the creature is a 2/3 that can activate that ability for 3 mana. Fable allows you to discard for free, right, on your draw step on the turn after you play it. You can discard, and you're trying to set it up for Emrakul that you then Goryo's in response to Emrakul trigger, because Emrakul tries to shuffle itself away. So with Haggle, it's like for 3 mana, you can haggle an Emrakul plus Goryo's Vengeance, but you need a red mana and a black mana. And as you've seen, sometimes it's hard for us to get all our colors. That's why these talismans are in there. And I'm almost tempted to like turn 2 of these into talismans and the other 2 into haggle maybe or something. But I think it is pretty tight. I was thinking about the mana base, and I don't know if there's anything I would change. I think having basics makes sense. I don't think we need the basic planes, but there are a lot of wins that require you to have white mana. And so like maybe I want 1 more Talisman of Conviction. I don't know. It's hard. It is tight. The balance is between, things that exile, things that we want exiled, win cons, and then the in-between that can get us there, like Pole is kind of part of the Goryo's Vengeance win con. Ramp gets us there. These get us there, but also act as exile. The Ugin's Labs and the Gemstone Caverns also exile. I think that's a big part, is using our land base to like accomplish part of our game plan is powerful, as well as ramp us. So like these help with this win con, and they also help with through the reach win con. So I don't think that, yeah, I think this is pretty tight. This is a list that could probably survive a 1-ring ban and turn this into something else. But for now, I don't think there's anything better than this in this slot. I hate this art, by the way. I'm sorry, but it was the cheapest one. And again, like you saw I didn't even sideboard there. We're not looking to over sideboard, and the Sun Cleansers might actually not be strong enough. Like maybe I just want like Pyroclasm in this slot because I'm not trying to shut them off. I'd rather just survive, but I don't know. I'm torn. We do have less white sources than red, so maybe I'll try Pyroclasm in that slot. And I haven't even, cast most of these cards. You saw my first outing with it. But powerful deck, definitely has potential. Some of it was misplaced. It's complicated. And like I said, you make a lot of decisions before the game starts. So if you're interested, if you like Goryo's Vengeance decks, if you want to make Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, or, Ulamog the Defiler, swing for 22, Annihilator 15, this might be one of the best ways to do it. I'm sure there are like more fair ways to set it up, but the fair ways are going to be slower, and slower gives your opponent more chances to interact. And it's like, yeah, you saw how we just lost to like Obsidian Charmal 1 game and a reprieve, and you saw how, people can interact with you, but at the same time, like when you're doing it so fast, it does give them less chances to. So that's the goal of it. And I'll probably run it through another league because it's pretty fun. This is what I like to do. Combo them out when in doubt. Hope you're having a great day.